Hi there, boys and girls. Ready for story time today? We're going to read the story Little Miss Giggles by Roger Hargreaves. Can you giggle and eat cornflakes at the same time? Little Miss Giggles could. Do you giggle while you sleep? Little Miss Giggles did. Can you giggle while you brush your teeth? Little Miss Giggles could. She was the giggliest girl in the world, and she lived in Chuckle Cottage. Remember, a cottage is a small house. But one terrible day last summer, you'll never guess what happened. She lost her giggle, just like that, gone. She had woken up giggling, as usual, and she'd giggled her way down the stairs, as usual, and she had giggled while she was having breakfast, as usual. But while she was out walking in the woods around Chuckle Cottage, she realized that she wasn't giggling. She stopped walking. That's odd, she thought. Now, ordinarily, she would have giggled to herself, but not today. She tried to giggle, and nothing happened. She tried again. Nothing happened again. Oh dear, she thought miserably. And as she walked along, a tear trickled down her cheek. Dear, it's kind of sad, isn't it? She met Mr. Happy, who was out for his usual morning stroll. Hello, little Miss Giggles, he laughed. How are you today? But then he noticed her sad little face. What's wrong? He asked anxiously. You're the happiest person I know. He paused. Well, next to myself, of course, he added hastily. I've lost my giggle, she explained miserably. Lost your giggle? He asked. Befuddled. He's like confused. He doesn't understand. Mr. Happy scratched his head. He said. We'll just have to find it again, won't we? Little Miss Giggles nodded, but not very hopefully. Come on, he said, and taking her by the hand, he took her off to see Mr. Funny. There's nobody like Mr. Funny for a giggle, Mr. Happy said. He's being nice. He's going to try to help her, isn't he? But it was no use. Mr. Funny tried and tried to get her to giggle, chuckle, or even smile, but little Miss Giggles just couldn't. Tell you what, said Mr. Funny, I'll tell you my very latest joke. I made it up myself, he added modestly. Very funny. He was laughing so hard he could hardly tell the joke, and when he had finished, he and Mr. Happy nearly fell over. They were laughing so much. Is that going to make little Miss Giggles laugh? But not for little Miss Giggles. It's no use, she sighed. I'm going to be miserable for the rest of my life. I know I am. Then she thought for a moment. I'll even have to change my name, she sobbed, and she started to cry again, big fat tears. Oh dear. Poor little Miss Giggles. So Mr. Happy took her to see Mr. Topsy-Turvy to ask his advice. Morning, good, he said cheerfully. Then he caught sight of little Miss Giggles' sad face. Matter the whats? He asked. He always spoke back to front. Mr. Happy explained what had happened. Dear, oh, Mr. Topsy-Turvy exclaimed. Then he thought. Doctor, he said. Doctor the sea to her take. That's a good idea, said Mr. Happy, and he took her right away to see Dr. Make-You-Well. There's Mr. Topsy-Turvy. Mr. Happy told the doctor all about little Miss Giggles' lack of giggle. He said, stick out your tongue. Not you, you silly, he said to Mr. Happy. Little Miss Giggles stuck out her tongue. Looks all right to me, said Dr. Make-You-Well. Open your mouth. Here's the doctor. Dr. Make-You-Well peered inside. You're right. There's not a giggle in sight. I'm sorry, he added, but there's just nothing I can do for you. You'll just have to wait for your giggle to come back. Poor little Miss Giggles. nothing they could do. Sometimes that happens. Mr. Happy took her home, and by this time, even he was not his cheerful self. What a sorry sight, don't you think? He's not even smiling. Why don't you try to giggle? He said hopefully. Little Miss Giggles opened her mouth. Ha ha ha, she said unhappily. He he he, she said miserably. Ho ho ho, she added mournfully. It was no use at all. I'm sorry, I can't help, I guess, said Mr. Happy as they reached the garden gate of Chuckle Cottage. And as little Miss Giggles went sadly through her front door, Mr. Happy went home to think. I like how Mr. Happy, he's still trying to think of ways to help. He's not giving up. He's not quitting. That's a good friend indeed. Then an idea came to him while he was having lunch. He rubbed his hands with glee. Tee-hee-hee, he chortled to himself. And later that afternoon, he knocked on the front door of Chuckle Cottage. Who's there? Asked a sad little voice. It's me, called out Mr. Happy. I have a present for you. There he is, thinking about his idea. He knows what she needs. He knows what to do. Little Miss Giggles looked absolutely miserable opening the door. Here you are, said Mr. Happy, and he handed her a large box. On top of the box, in large letters, it said, 1 giggle, medium size, this side up, handle with care. Little Miss Giggles looked at the box in amazement. What is it? She asked. Well, what it says it is, laughed Mr. Happy. You lost your giggle, so I got you another one. That giggle cost me a lot of money, he added. Little Miss Giggles opened the box. But there's nothing in it, she exclaimed. Of course not, said Mr. Happy. Giggles are invisible. But that's absolutely ridiculous, said little Miss Giggles. Is it? Chuckled Mr. Happy. Is it ridiculous to have a box of giggles? Giggles? Excuse me. Of course it is, she giggled. She giggled, and she giggled, and she giggled. A box of giggles? That's silly. The end. Again, Roger Hargreaves writes a lot of different books, little Mr. books and little Miss books. On the back, it shows all the different characters for his books. I hope you enjoyed the story, Little Miss Giggles. I especially like how Mr. Happy was helping. When you see somebody feeling bad, having a bad day, not smiling, not having fun, maybe there's something you can do to cheer them up. Sometimes just talking to them or giving them a hug. Sometimes that helps. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.